once again with another sport topic, and today we're going to talk some football, Houston Texans football. Today we're going to talk about not only what I think is the best unit on the team right now, it might be the best room in franchise history. Yeah, it might be. We're going to talk about, we're going to break it down. Before we get in there, like I've been telling you before, if you're liking the content, man, make sure you're liking the channel. Make sure you're watching all the videos. You comment on all the videos. You subscribing to the channel. You liking all the videos. You sharing all the videos on all social media platforms, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, TikTok, Snapchat, any type of social media platform you use. Make sure you share on them same social media platforms. Also, follow me on social media as well. The link in the description below. Make sure you follow me on social media. Let's get the channel growing and growing and growing. Y'all been asking for more videos. And what y'all been getting? What y'all been receiving? Y'all been getting videos like that, huh? So I need y'all to help this channel grow and grow. I need you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and let's get this channel growing and growing. Now, let's talk about what I think is the best unit on the football team right now, and that's that DB room, man. That DB unit. With the safeties, you got Jimmy Ward, you got Jalen Peter, who was a stud last year, who I believe is going to be on his way to an all-pro season this year. Derek Stingley, our third overall pick last year, who did not give up a touchdown. Let me reiterate, did not give up a touchdown. He was the most targeted cornerback last year. The dude that did not give up a touchdown, but yet nobody talks about him. That's cool. Stingley gonna show y'all what's up. But will really give this unit that right there might be the person who's playing the best out of camp so far, and that's Steven Nelson. Steven Nelson has came into camp like an absolute dog. Remember, he wanted a contract coming into the season. He was sending all those subliminals, coming there, Nick Casario for the sweater vest and all type of things. And people out here, hey, get him out of my city, get him off my team. Everybody was tripping. We don't need to pay him. And I said, I put it on Twitter, what was it, like earlier this year. I think he had tweeted that link, and I retweeted and it's like, hey, pay this dude. Had lockdown. Because to be honest, even though we like Stingley, we feel that Stingley is the number one corner. Stingley is going to be an all-pro caliber player. But something about Steven Nelson last year, Steven Nelson played, but if you want to be completely honest, Steven Nelson was the best cornerback on the team last year via play, even though, like I just said about Stingley, now some of that had to do with Stingley not finishing the season, him getting hurt, not finishing the season, but hey, best ability is availability, huh? So hey, you got a complete season, even though he was the most targeted cornerback last year that did not give up a touchdown. Man, Steven Nelson won the contract. He's out here showing that he actually deserves a contract. Not getting Nick Casario angle, you know, he's a veteran guy that's in his 30s or heading into his 30s, and his best season of his career was last year. So you want to make sure that it wasn't fool's gold. You want to make sure that I don't want to, give you a 4 or 5 year deal and you good for year 1, possibly year 2, but year 3 and 4, you a liability for me. You got so much money coming in, you getting paid so much money, and I'm not getting what I deserve, or I'm not getting what I'm paying for. I'm not getting my money's worth out of you. So I understand Nick Casario hesitancy to not want to give up a contract, especially a big contract. And from a player standpoint, I played the best ball of my career last year. I showed you what I can do. I deserve to get paid. Hey, but you got a new head coach, D'Amico. D'Amico ain't seen you play. He's seen you from afar. He's seen you on tape. But he wasn't there in the building last year. That was Lovie Smith. That was Lovie's defense. That was Lovie's defense. That was Lovie's play calls. That was Lovie being the coach. That's not him. Even though Nick is here, D'Amico's different. You got to come in and show what you can do. And from the day one, the boy's been out there making plays every single camp. Every single practice. Every single practice. Out here getting pick sixes, forcing fumbles, getting pass deflections. He out there showing you exactly what he about. He out there chirping, he out there talking. Then you also got Desmond King and playing the slot. You also then brought in Shaq Griffin to come in. This DB room, and I'm going to get to what I said in a minute about possibly the best in franchise history. We'll talk about that in a minute. But this unit, I feel extremely confident in saying, without a shadow of a doubt, this is the best unit on the team so far. It is. It's the best unit on the team so far. I know we've invested a lot in the offensive line, and Tunsil, and Titus Howard, and then also Shaq Mason, and then as far as draft capital and Scruggs and then Kenyon Green, same thing. Also, obviously quarterback situations, things like that, and what we did with Damian Pierce and Singletary. But from playing, Because we seen what Petrie did last year. And outside Larry Tunsil, I'm not gonna Larry Tunsil always had a better year than Petrie did last year. But Petrie was up there. Then you add in Desmond, you add in Ward. Ward comes in. You already know what it is. Like I said, Steven Nelson Steven Nelson, for my opinion, had the better season last year. The best cornerback season last year on the team. Desmond King damn sure showed you what he could do. You bring in Shaq Griffin, and then again, before Stingley got hurt, before Stingley missed in the game, he was the most targeted cornerback last year. Did not give him a touchdown. And also, he was being utilized incorrectly. He was playing the wrong defense, in Lovie Smith's defense. He's a press man corner. He needs to be up against the number one corner all game long, or at least for the majority of the game, a good junction of the game, a good chunk of the game, covering the number one corner one-on-one. I have very high hopes on Stingley, especially what we've seen Sauce do. And y'all know I like Sauce coming out of the draft last year. He was physical. He was used his hands. I like the way Sauce plays. Again, I do believe that Sauce used his hands a little bit too much. He get his hands caught in the cookie jar a little bit too much. Even though they didn't call it last year, we'll see if he's going to start getting that same treatment. They're going to give him them same calls next going forward, or will it be a bigger talk in the back? I mean, the Jets have been doing a lot of talking, a lot of chirping. Sauce is a tremendous talent, and I agree that Sauce definitely deserved to be Rookie of the Year last year and deserved his All-Pro accolades. He led the league in pass deflections. I know people want to poo-poo that. Y'all don't really understand how hard it is to get a pass deflection as a DB. It is a very difficult thing to do. It is not easy to do, especially it's not an easy thing to do. But it is your job. I give you that. It is your job as a DB to get those pass deflections. He led the NFL. He deserved those accolades, not taking anything away from him. But still, even saying that, I do think from a supreme talent standpoint, Stingley's the more supreme. He's more physically gifted. He's faster. He's probably stronger, and he's put on some weight, good weight. He's put on good weight. Ain't like he's getting fat or nothing like that. He's put on good weight. He seems like he uses his feet more. I love the way he uses his hips, the way he turns, the way his recovery speed is. He has all the physical traits you want to be a number one corner. When I watch him play, he reminds me a lot of Champ Bailey. It's not just that he wears number 24. He reminds me a lot of Champ Bailey, and I do think that's high praise because Champ Bailey was a damn good corner, the Hall of Famer, damn good corner. And if you can get that out of Stingley, especially being the number 3 pick in the draft, you're hitting house money. You're hitting house money, and not to mention the DBs are not being coached by J-Joe. I said this when we hired D'Amico, and people out here talking about we need to hire, we need to bring back JJ to be a coach, and Andre, and all those people. Like I said, it was only 3 former players of the Texans that I would like to bring in as a coach. Brian Cushing, because he actually did it before with Bill O'Brien. He was a part coach. T.J. Yates, because the way that T.J. Yates was able to learn the system, the way he knows the system back in college. When we drafted Deshaun Watson went out there and got T.J. Yates. T.J. Yates had taught him some of the play calls and some of the things from Bill O'Brien's system. He showed that teaching acumen, and also he's a coach right now. If I'm not mistaken, I think he's like an offensive line coach or assistant offensive line coach, something in Atlanta. He's something with the Atlanta Falcons. So he shows that acumen for coaching. That's part of it. You got to have that hunger because coaching is a very taxing job. And the other one was J-Joe. Because the same thing, now I need to see if he actually had that drive to want to be a coach. But from a teaching standpoint, he got that. Because he constantly, all the time, will be teaching the DBs. He was teaching Kevin Johnson, even though Kevin Johnson was learning. He was teaching A.J. Bouye's. He was teaching Justin Reeves. He was teaching Kareem Jackson. He was teaching all these guys, Glover Quinn, when he got here. He was always teaching guys. He'd be teaching guys from the other team. Like after the game, other receivers and other DBs would be coming to him after the game, trying to get a little pointers. Hey, what I do here? What I should do here? He would come and talk to the receivers. He would come and talk to Hopkins and Fuller and stuff like that during the game. Like, hey, I see this corner. He's doing this to you when you're up there. Hey, you need to do this. Move your hands like this. He was always teaching both receivers and cornerbacks, always giving up free game. He was always giving up free game. So for him to do that from there, that's his actual occupation, I have no problem that he's going to do that. And again, talking about somebody leading pass deflection, you do know that J-Joe is third all time. All time in the whole NFL. In the whole 100 plus years in the NFL. J.J. is third all time in pass deflections in the whole NFL. Think about that. So I have no problem with him coaching. I do think that he's going to help grow and elevate not just Darius Stingley, but this DB room as a whole. Now back to what I was saying about this possibly being the best room in franchise history when it comes to DBs. Because when you sit back and look at it, I mean, early on when you had Aaron Colvin and you had Aaron Glenn. I mean, Marcus Colvin, Aaron Glenn, Dante Robinson. At one point, obviously you had Glover Quinn, you had J.J., you had Kareem Jackson, you had Danielle Manning. Allen. I can't think of Allen's first name. I know his last name is Allen. He wore number 30. Then you also added in A.J. Bouye, things like that. This possibly, it would be that 2011. That 2011 was a damn good room. And like I said, early on, like 2002, and then maybe 2004 was Dante Robinson rookie year. Maybe around those times, possibly will be in the running for the best DB room. When you talk about, like I said, what Stingley could bring to the table, you're talking about what I think Petry's going to be this year. You hear a lot of people talking about Petry. Petry's getting a lot of hype. Hey, man, we ain't talking about number 5 out there in Houston. Hey, y'all ain't talking about number 5 out there in Houston. I mean, I think I seen a thing that had, if they did the redraft, they had Petry going top 10. Petry be going top 10. Like, Petry should have been in the running. Petry should have been in conversation. I don't think he should have won Defensive Rookie of the Year, but he should have been in the conversation for Rookie of the Year. We wasn't talking about him in the conversation for Rookie of the Year. I don't understand why. I do understand. He played for the Houston Texans. We only won with 3 games, 4 games. Didn't get the notoriety. He should have been in the conversation. Should have been in the conversation. You got Ward, but you got Jimmy Ward back there now. That other safety occupied. Then, like I said, when you talk about your corners, your slot corner Desmond King. Desmond King is a very legitimate slot corner, a guy who plays very well. Then your third corner coming off the bench is Shaq Griffin, who's a former Pro Bowler himself. And then, like I said, that boy Steven Nelson's hungry for a contract. Because I know we reworked this contract. We gave him a little bit of extra money here, move some things around. Then we might have cleared up some space too. We also got some free money up front, guaranteed money up front. I think that boy going to be ready to come down and be locked down and be able to own himself to get a contract. Now, I do think that Stingley's still going to be the number 1 corner. I think his number 1 assignment is going to be, the number one receiver. The way D'Amico looked at him and called his name out during that press conference when we hired D'Amico, him and Petry, how you mentioned, he know what he got them 2 boys. He know exactly what he got them 2 dogs right there. He knows exactly what he do. He knows the talent, the supreme talent that both Stingley and Petry have, and he knows exactly what he wants to do. He's going to do a lot of exotic, masterful things, I think, with them. I think he's gonna do a lot of stuff with them. I think he's gonna do a lot of mixed coverage. We're gonna be we're gonna be fooling a lot of the quarterbacks that we play. Like week 1, get ready, Lamar Jackson. I think the Ravens might win that game still because they just a good team. And also Lamar Jackson, former MVP. He gonna fool Lamar Jackson. He gonna get him. He gonna catch AR-15. He gonna catch Trevor Lawrence. He gonna catch Tannehill or Malik Willis or Will Levis. He gonna catch them. He gonna catch them slipping. He gonna catch Kenny Pickett. He got Deshaun Watson. He gonna catch these guys. He gonna catch these guys slipping. He's gonna be able to find a way to disguise coverages and catch them slipping. And he's going to utilize these guys and utilize his talent extremely well. And I also think with J.J. giving up that free game, if he was giving the game to opponents on the sideline after the game, if he giving up free game to, even though it's a receiver, he doing war with him right now. Hey, we trying to win a football game. He giving a free game like that. He definitely going to be giving up game. He want this unit to be better. He want this unit to be good. And I think right now this is the best unit on this team. And I can't wait because I really love to see one-on-one receivers and cornerback battles. I love that. Like when cornerbacks and receivers are battling one-on-one, I believe those are the best one-on-one matchups. Like when practicing 2-a-days and stuff like that, when we watching the one-on-ones, I love to watch receivers and corners go. When I'm watching the game and I have no real interest in the game as far as like, okay, I'm not interested in this team winning or losing, but they got good corners, or they got good receivers, or it's a good cornerback receiver matchup, I want to watch that. I want to watch that. I want to see who's going to win. I want to see what corner going to win. I want to see what receiver going to win. Okay, now he can't cover him. Dang. Hey, he locking him down. He can't. He locked down. He can't go nowhere. I love to see that, and I think we're going to see that here in Houston, week in and week out. Like, subscribe if you haven't. Comment below if you haven't. Click that bell. Get more videos. I holla.